Hey everybody, William Kale here, back with another Bitcoin and altcoin trading talk. We're up at episode 8. Got a great show for you guys tonight. As usual, we have Brian Beamish from the Rational Investor here. The rationalinvestor.co is his site. Make sure to check that out. Julian from the Rational Investor should hopefully be joining us shortly. He said he was having some PC issues. And then we have a special guest tonight, Alex Sterk from Decentral Vancouver and Block Talk. How you
Hi
doing
everyone,
tonight, guys?
glad to be here.
Hello, hello.
Glad to have you.
No, it's
How are
a good
you
show. I
doing?
like watching you guys, so it's cool to participate once in a while, I guess.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I think I spoke to you once on the phone prior to this, so it's cool to be able to actually shoot the bull with you a little bit and stuff. And Block Talk's a great show. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure to just go to YouTube, type in Block Talk. They're adding new shows every week. Lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, and we also have our sister show, Salon Talks. So tomorrow night, make sure you guys check us out because we're going to have Lynn Albridge on, Ross Albridge's mother, and he's going to tell us about the trial that never happened and what they're doing to, solve those issues. So look for that tomorrow night.
That's going to be awesome. So, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Rational Investor? What do you guys got going on over
Uh,
there?
well, it's the middle of the summer. We're in summer trading. You can really see it in the market. So we're actually just finishing up our most recent semester. I remember somebody was in our program.
Yeah, well, I've got
Yeah.
a backlog of recordings to watch now, so I'm gonna be catching up here, Brian. So,
Anyway, so that term's winding up now. We start our next term after Labor Day. So we're kind of quieting things down a little bit there. We've got, of course, Julian has got a huge project. He's rolling out our new site platform. And we've got a whole bunch of fun toys that traders are just going to have a field day with off of that new website. So we got a whole bunch of stuff in the works. And it's interesting because it's at the point now where I know I'm looking at having competing against Fjord's algorithms. It's going to be Brian versus the algos. I can just feel it coming. So Fjord's one of our site people has been working really hard on developing. We've been working. One of the modules that we teach in our program is how to build algorithms and how you can trade with them. So we're really excited about rolling out that. So and I mean it's here nor there. So but you might as well know if my voice sounds a little toned down, a little drab. It's because I've been spending basically the past week getting ready to move, and tomorrow I'm moving. So I'm slightly preoccupied with a whole bunch of that stuff.
are you moving to the same city or a different city?
Oh, you can't get me out of British Columbia that easily. Um, my it's just within the city, and really, it's the primary purpose is to help my son. Of course, my son has special needs. Anybody who can help people with autism, go out of your way and give them a break because they have a pretty tough life. Liam has severe autism, and so as a result, my wife and I, we spent a lot of our lives just basically building up supports for him. So this move actually is primarily geared towards serving him better. So
Cool.
anyway, and probably not a bad idea, because I've been playing this silly game for 20 years. I often joke with people that most of the pros, usually after the end of May, beginning of June, they're off to the Hamptons. I don't know whether you guys have ever heard me say that before.
I have,
Uh,
yes.
right. So if anything, it's not a bad idea to take advantage of the summer when things are a little bit calmer and get that out of the way. But anyway, nonetheless, your viewers don't want to be bored with my nonsense of moving,
Oh, well,
let's
I
get
find
on with the show. I'm sure I could see I almost put Alex to sleep there.
it. Well, glad to hear that you're at least, able to somewhat enjoy your summer, Brian.
Yeah, it's challenging. Trust
Hauling furniture and whatnot in the heat is
Oh,
not
I
very.
know it's horrible, but I mean, crypto-wise, I can't complain. A trader's life setups come and go, and so we've been in and out of Bitcoin a few times over the past month or so. Just very typical, just sort of trader living. And the altcoins have been doing pretty well too. And what I found is we're sort of recycling. I got filled on a long-standing sell order today on one coin that I had, and that gave me a whole bunch more coins. And I noticed literally the moment that I had gone and sold that position, a whole bunch of open orders got filled, and so that coin was already all spent up. So I've been actually pretty active in the altcoin market lately.
Great.
And of course, some of the stories that we're going to talk about tonight, there's always something to keep your interest. So.
Yeah, and we've got some great analysis set up for everybody. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the altcoin stuff, however, I guess we kind of just wanted to run through, a quick little update as far as Coinigy. Alex had, I guess, a couple questions, suggestions, and whatnot. So feel free to fire away, Alex. I can share my screen here.
Oh yeah, I got mine shared too as well. So yeah, you guys hooked me up with a membership as part of the sponsorship, and I've been playing around, saving some charts and stuff. Like here, I was copying a section of the chart and flipping it over to, let's see a little bit of symmetry here and stuff. But just kind of fun stuff to, play around and see what charts work. But
Cool.
Yeah, my first question, I guess, is so what's with the trading view button down here? Why do you guys want to pull people away from your site?
Well, that's something you're going to have to discuss with TradingView. Their whole kind of principle is they're trying to get people to use their charting library, basically in return for free advertising. So we're utilizing their library. It has its bugs, which kind of we deal with on a day-to-day basis, but overall it's a pretty great library. So we're actually required to keep that logo on there. We have reached out to them and as far as getting removing the logo and whatnot, but unfortunately the fees are a little bit too high for our tastes at the moment. We are actually currently working with a new charting platform to eventually either replace TradingView or complement TradingView.
Volume profile. Volume profile.
Yeah, and this new one. Well, and that goes back, Brian, again to that's one of those features that TradingView kind of keeps under lock and key for their pro members. We technically could go in and probably build our own volume profile on this. However, with this new library, it's going to give us a lot more flexibility, and quite frankly, I'd much rather build it into this new library that we're more than likely going to end up going with long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, I read you loud and clear.
Okay.
You're not the only one asking for volume profile.
So
I don't think Alex. I don't think you use volume profile, do you?
No, I usually just play around with whatever's free out there. So
What did you call my moving average studies the last time I saw you? I thought it was so funny. He had a funny little name for it.
I think I forgot what the acronym was, and I called it like the MACD or something.
Oh, anyway, I just made reference to the volume profile because that was one thing, and Will and I have talked about this before. TradingView is kind of funny in that way. Well, they want to help you, but they only want to help you so far, right?
Right. So yeah, I mean that's kind of why we're, I guess I could say migrating elsewhere a little bit. There are other charting libraries out there that are pretty comparable. And what we've seen and worked on so far has been pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So the other thing was how fast do new coins show up on your system here? Like as soon as the charts are available?
Okay, so what we collect all the data that is shown on our charts. We have 3 daemon servers that are constantly either polling or connected via WebSockets to these exchanges directly. for probably 90% of the exchanges, we have market discovery, which means the second that market shows up on the exchange, it will be pulled into Coinigy automatically. Now, that doesn't mean that the chart is going to show up or that it's actually going to show up on the left sidebar. Because of the way that our UI is set up, we show the trading pair basically the second that we have 1 minute of data. Because with an OHLCV chart like you're seeing, it requires basically 1 bar, and that's 1 minute of data. So I can show you. I mean, for example, that came about today. Kraken added their Ethereum markets.
Yeah, that's what I noticed here. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I'm like, geez, these guys are on top of things. They already got all the new markets.
Yeah, so Kraken is one of the exchanges that we have automatic market discovery. As you can see, though, there aren't any trades yet here. And our UI still isn't necessarily handling this well yet. You can see there's stuff on the ask side, but this bid stuff is from the previous market that I clicked on. So that's actually a bug I noticed today, and price trend stays up for the previous market. But the second that we actually have some bids over here, we will be rolling, basically. You'll be able to see the live order book updates, and as soon as trades start rolling in, you'll see them, I mean, instantly on the right here. And then once we have 1 minute of data, it will show up on the charts here, basically. So, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Like, I'm sure if new markets gets added, people want to trade as soon as possible. Sometimes there's some arbitrage options. And
yeah, that's one thing too that has been requested quite often is us adding an extra alert type, so letting everybody know when a new market is discovered, and that's definitely in the pipeline. We will be adding that.
Cool. And my last question was, I have a request on mining. One thing that makes crypto different is these stocks actually have way more data to pull on them, like mining rewards and cash values, and what's the strength of the network. And it'd be kind of cool to plug all that in. Maybe throw in your own like kilowatt hour data or something, so you can figure out mining costs and figure out when and why people are dumping.
Yeah, so that is also 100% in the pipeline. We even are going to go so far as to give you the option to overlay that information on the chart directly. I don't know if you've actually used it, Alex, but we allow you to actually track your balances on like over 100 altcoins here.
Yeah.
So we are tied into the blockchains on a lot of these coins. We have sources for the data, for historical blockchain data, and we definitely plan on doing that. Also, on the overview page, as you guys saw, well, I don't know if you've seen this actually yet or not, but we just launched ARB Matrix. That's in beta right now. It's still kind of in testing, but it's a pretty cool feature. But we've started working on our own block explorer, basically, and this is going to be kind of our own spin on the block explorer.
Wow.
The unique Coinigy way.
Are you taking my trade ideas? Why is your account value going down?
Yeah, I don't know. I think what do I have there? 3.5
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
must have lost some value. No,
That's
I have
not mine.
Yeah, I explained this in another show, but I have for testing purposes, I connect just a bunch of wallets, and I usually connect like the largest wallets to this test account.
Yeah.
And I don't really have that much BTC. Otherwise, I'd probably be in the Caymans or something. But so yeah. Hope that answers your question, Alex.
Yeah, no, you definitely gave me more to look at now, because you guys have a lot of stuff I haven't even discovered yet. Like I've just started attaching some APIs in order to do trading from your platform. So I'm just scratching the surface on what's possible with this thing.
Yeah, there's quite a bit to it. And again, since there is so much, what we're really trying to do is work on our onboarding process, which is basically, when a new user signs up, I mean, we're finding that people are really overwhelmed and they don't know where to go, how to do things. So we're working on, we have tutorials on a lot of pages. You can just, and anyone who's watching, you can click up here, help. You can just click tour this page, and it will put you right into the tutorial, and it walks you through, various things. So.
Very cool.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm cool with moving on to what do we want to go to the news or to Bitcoin? Like that seems like our next topic here, I would guess.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of jump into at least the altcoins.
Yeah, JC, our news anchor, said that he's at a physiotherapy appointment. Oh, I see Julian just popped in.
Hey,
Hey, how's your Windows 10?
it's just fantastic. Absolutely. It's good now. No, I really like it. I just had a couple issues, when I first started it up, and a couple things weren't working. And in case anyone out there is wondering, the new Microsoft Edge browser does not work with Google Hangouts.
Really?
Wow.
No, I couldn't get it to work. I spent about 5 minutes before I was like, all right, let me just go to Chrome.
Back to old trusty Chrome.
It is faster. It's faster than Windows 8. At least
Well,
I
you're
feel
on a
like it
fresh
is.
install, though, right?
What's that?
Are you on a fresh install, or did you upgrade?
No, I just upgraded because I just got this computer 2 weeks ago, so I was like, I should fresh install, but I was feeling lazy.
Right on. Cool. Well, glad to hear that you were able to get that installed.
Julian, did you want to do sort of a news summary? Were you thinking about doing that this week, or?
Since JC's not here, I was thinking, if Alex knows more. I mean, unless Alex, are you just on altcoins really, or are you mostly?
Oh, I read everything and anything.
So I thought that. Yeah, so there you go.
I don't want to, give away too much of my notes, or else I'll have nothing to talk about on my show on Saturday. But the biggest news this week will be Thursday. The Ethereum blockchain launches, and we'll be talking about that as one of our altcoins.
All right.
And,
yeah, we don't have to. We can get into that, I guess, once we talk about ETC.
Yeah. So, I don't have too much to mention. Like this week it has been fairly quiet, but everyone's buzzing about Ethereum. That's really the news.
Cool. Yeah, I think we should probably just dive into some altcoins. Give the people what they want.
Okay.
All right. I mean, have we done a proper Coinigy update? Did you cover everything you wanted to, Will?
Yeah, for the most part, really, our matrix being released is the big thing. We've been kind of working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes this week, so no major updates.
All right. Just just so the viewers know, I know charts, I know trading. I don't really know websites that well. You heard my spiel, but it probably wasn't that pro. Julian, you want to maybe just give just a quick minute or two on what your plans are with our site and how that's going?
Yeah, I mean, I could. Why don't we do one altcoin, Brian? And I will prepare a little bit more, so I can give a very pro presentation. And so do one altcoin, and then I'll go.
Okay, or maybe what we could do is, why don't I do just a 5-minute on BTC, just sort of summarize what the heck's going on there, and then we'll jump in. How does that sound?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Sounds good to me, yeah.
Yeah, only if it's 5 minutes.
All right, well.
5-minute hard cutoff, Brian.
All right, Alex, you got the timer ready?
Yeah, we're good to go. Give her.
Okay.
The guest is not allowed to be an asshole. Julian and Will, you can be a jerk if you want to.
Ooh, just remember, you just gave me permission, Brian.
Oh, now I'm in trouble. All right, so let's. And what I love about, of course, about Coinigy, and it's so funny because I'm still trading off of this silly BTCE account, and all my site members are like, "Are you going to move over to a real exchange one of these days?" So that's not a comment on BTCE. It's just that a lot of people that I find that don't trade BTCE, and I pull up BTC on Coinigy and look at all the choices I have. It's just all right at my fingertips. So I love that.
Yeah, you got to get some accounts attached there, Brian.
Yeah. All right, so let's just do a quick overview. We've been, and really the theme has been pretty consistent over the past sort of 6 months, I guess. We've been stuck in a basic trading range, and good part about this, hopefully now, is did we do all of the tutorials on all these different indicators? I thought we did, or did we miss any of
I
them?
don't think we did the Willy, but we did MACD and OBV.
Okay, so maybe one of these shows down the road we'll do a quick one on Willy just to remind people
You
what
have
it is that I
mentioned
use
Willy
it.
before, though.
If this is basically how I look at the market on a daily basis. Nice simple moving averages, a volume study, and a couple momentum studies. I built this little Willy indicator because he does really well at sort of pointing out when the public is usually doing the wrong thing. And well, we didn't necessarily get overbought here on Willy. It came awfully close. We get officially a stupidly overbought reading on a market when it goes above minus 20, the moving average on Willy here. And we got to minus 20.44, so awfully close. What I would point out is we just simply went up and we tested the top end of this trading range, right? And I was feeling very optimistic about the Bitcoin story. Things were looking pretty good in here. I was long a bunch, and in and out. You can follow my tweets to see how all my Bitcoin trades are going. And we made some good money through this rally. It was very respectable. And then all of a sudden, and those that have taken my course are probably the introductory course, you're probably familiar with this. But we had this 2-bar reversal right at the resistance line. Remember, this was the top of the trading range here. This is what we call railroad tracks, straight up and straight down. And if we break the low of this bar right here, that's trouble. And so in essence, we've done that. You can see how we've come down. We put in a little bit of a bottom and a counter trend rally. And unfortunately, when we drill down to say something like a 4-hour chart or a 2-hour chart or something along these lines, you guys are probably familiar with. Well, I certainly hope you are. The concept of the reload zone, which is the 61.8 to 78.6 fib. And as you can see, off of this pullback, right, that's where the rally stopped here, right up against good old mountain man level. And we've kind of failed here, right? You can see the little, for Rob's sake, because he loves this. We went up, down, up, fail. What do we call that?
Looks like an M to me.
Right. This is a bearish market structure here. And you can see that off the lower time frames, we actually had a bearish divergence here in momentum, right? Price was making higher highs, but unfortunately momentum was not. So put it all together, and off the intradays, remember we said off the dailies, Willy was kind of overbought, not quite stupid, but here you can see off the 4 hours, quite stupid, right? And we have nice market structure failure here, right? You can see the M, see that M right there, and then another one up here, right? So put it all together, and it really didn't surprise me that price had to come back down here a bit. And then if we do little fibby fibs going the other way, you can see that basically a reload long zone sets up down here. So, and that's somewhere between about 275 and 280, right? 277 to 282, right? So if I was thinking about doing a Bitcoin trade right now, these are the two windows that I would be concentrating on. You also notice too that we're got 200 period moving average on the 4 hours coming up fast here. That's going to add some support. And should price get down into this area and momentum starts cleaning itself up, then we can start thinking about buying. Right now, if we drill down to like the 1 hour, you can clearly see that we're going through this correctionary process. We're at, did you ever get to the fibs part of the class? Will, I can't.
I don't know if I got to it on the class, but I'm pretty familiar at this point.
All right, so we call this this level, the 38.2, the first stop target, right? And quite often the market plays with this level. So you can clearly see how the market is quite obsessed with this 38.2. If we can form some half-decent market structure down in here, and momentum and volume start turning back up, then maybe we can justify getting back in. But I'm going to need to see a lot more anecdotal evidence in the short term to support that long idea. Right now, if I just had my druthers and I was saying, what's a nice, simple, easy, knee-jerk level to be hunting for if you wanted to be a buyer, you can see the W price action off of here, right? So that sets up this level as support. And of course, we've got all these key lows. And, what I really want to teach in my school is we as traders, people that want to make money from trading, not just to trade, right? There's a big difference between people who want to trade because trading's fun and people who want to trade to make money. If you're going to try and trade to make money, then ironically enough, what I have to do is I have to teach you to stop buying up here and start, if you are going to buy, start really concentrating your efforts down here against lows, right? So long and short of it here, I don't have a Bitcoin position on right now. I'm waiting for the market to clean itself up. We just had some bearish divergences, and right now I'm on the sidelines just waiting for the market to clean itself up.
Great.
Make sense?
Yep.
Right, and you can actually see just off of previous support and resistance, right, previous highs and lows, where a half-decent buy location lining up with our OTE RLZ paints this 277 to 282 area. All right, so what do you think? Is that a half-decent Bitcoin summary?
That was great.
Well, hold on. I got a quick question.
All right.
So you gave us kind of a short term. So this is like a, I'm sorry, excuse me. This is like a 1 week trade, right? What about, did you look at, I wasn't paying that close of attention because I'm trying to figure out about our spiel. What about the day or weekly? Did you look at those time frames? Maybe to tell people what you think is going to happen over the next month. You don't have to go back in time. Just what you think is going to happen in the future, based on what you're seeing.
What I said before was that it seems to me that we have a very well-defined, well-established trading range. And unfortunately, in that kind of case, like everybody wants me to say, Bitcoin's going to the moon, woohoo, right? But I can't. And as you can see from our momentum studies, things are looking a little bit soft. Seasonally, we're in a really dangerous time of year for you to get too bullish of anything. And, of course, you can see, Will, you should probably be able to see this, and Rob will respect this, right, because he loves this stuff.
I see that market structure.
Now, if we start closing down below here, we could be setting up a nasty M, very, opposite to the W's that we had here, right? So the long and short of it here is, if you're a range trader and you took a trade off at the bottom of this range, you should have been thinking about taking profits as we were approaching the top end of the range. As for now, I still think we're very much in a range market. And I need to see a nice solid move through this trading range. Remember, we've told people before that tails and wicks love to be eaten. Right? You got to go eat this wick, and then I need to hear the market accept that we're out of this range and we're moving higher. We had the setup there, and then the market failed. So at the very most, all I can say is, for the next week, next month, I will, it's very simple for the viewing audience. A trade, and this is off Bitfinex, a nice close above 316, and I think we're comfortably back off to the races. Right now, as I said, I'm looking for pullbacks into support, but at the very best, I can simply say that the market is range-bound, and we might be stuck in this trading range for quite a while.
Very good, very interesting.
Does that answer your question, Julia?
So we're going to see some 270s perhaps in the near future, and everybody's going to freak out.
Well, I guess. Do you guys remember last summer? It was really interesting. Bitcoin basically topped out right about exactly the same time last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, seasonally they don't call it the fall for nothing, right? And my feeling is that maybe we have another month of wiggle room in here. But once we start, the pros start to come back from the Hamptons, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole market has to take a swoon into October. That's very normal. Let's just hope it's not like last year for Bitcoin where we didn't ultimately bottom until the new year.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cleanly break 350 before we're done seeing any lows. Like I love playing with the symmetry tool, and I'm thinking we're probably gonna do another low dip before we go up. Maybe see some retraces back down to the 200 levels to this accumulation. But that's just I'm not really basing that off of any technical know-how. It's just I know 320 or 350, like that just seems to be a brick wall until we like smash through it, or we're not going any higher.
I know a lot of trading people that I have conversed with, they just simply have orders working to sell at $300. They don't even think about it. It's $300, I'm seller. As simple as that.
Yeah, buy again at 350 if it gets that high.
Yeah, I guess the way I would look at it, right, is momentum-wise, we just went through the sweet spot of the market. It wasn't a lot of fun for Bitcoin itself, but wow, man, did we ever see some moves in some of the altcoins, right?
Yeah.
And seasonally, the stock market did relatively well. So, on balance, my feeling is this was pretty much a business as usual year. The question you really have to ask yourself is, what is our future kind of looking like, right? And and this is something that you can take from the broader market, all the crypto enthusiasts. Usually, the market tops out somewhere between about 8 months to 15 months prior to the U.S. election. So we are now entering that window.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Another one of those cycles, I tell you.
Right. Well, I mean, the problem is that usually, especially if it's a two-term president, and I don't think Mr. Biden has really enamored himself with the American public. So what ends up happening is you absolutely know that some sort of new power block is going to take over the executive branch of the U.S. government. That leads to a lot of unknowns.
New fiscal policy.
Everything, right?
New heads of everything.
And so it's a lot easier just to say, you know what? Why don't I sell now? I'll wait for the new guy to get established. We'll see whether, maybe it's a new girl this time. We don't know. But let's let them get established, and then once they're established, then we'll go and we'll put our money back to work. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see some of that, and it will be really interesting to see how crypto reacts in the face of this. But generally speaking, my hunch is while it is going to have its own nuances, and there will be individual stories that'll drive things. Generally speaking, it can't fight the overall trend of the market, in my opinion. And then also, too, we have to remember that the Fed down in the States is starting to think about raising interest rates. And we have a classic saying in the market, 3 steps and a stumble. So if we get to the point where you've seen the Fed raise interest rates 3 consecutive times, odds are the market's setting itself up for a correction. So, that's what we have to look forward to. Isn't that wonderful?
Just lovely.
But the good part about it is, this is the cool part about Coinigy, is you can sit there, even while, Bitcoin, I've been running my little altcoin portfolio for about 10 months now, 9-10 months, and we're just killing. Like the portfolio's up a nice 70 some odd %. Regardless of the dollar figures, the strategy is exactly the same, while Bitcoin itself is down 40%. So that's a testament that you can make lots of money trading altcoins, even if Bitcoin's in a bear market.
Right on.
That should be music to your ears, Will.
I can't say I don't like hearing it.
And
Hey,
also
Julian.
Alex, you know,
Julian,
so.
are you almost ready to jump in here? Oh, I think he's got
Yeah,
his.
I've only got one thing to show you guys. I've decided I don't want to show too much yet.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So maybe just give us a couple minutes.
So
I tell
no,
you,
it's
some
not.
of
It's
this
going to be
stuff.
1 minute.
Okay, you need a little bit more time.
No, I'm only going to give one. It's a teaser.
All right,
Okay,
go ahead.
go for it.
All right, so if I guess you can see my screen. Can everyone see what's up on the screen?
Yep.
Does anyone want to take a guess at what this is or what it does?
Heat map?
Not you, Brian. Brian, don't say anything.
Well, I see bullish, and I can't see what's on the left there because my bar is. Oh, price change percentage.
So I'm seeing Apple.
I don't know the technical term, but I think I can gather what we're seeing.
So Alex hit it. It is a heat map, but not the kind of heat map you're used to. So we've been with our developer working on something we're calling the market scanner for almost a year now, to basically give you buy and sell signals for different stocks and also for Bitcoin we have right now as well. We're going to be adding altcoins in the future. But pretty much what's going to happen is you're going to sign up for the service and you're going to get to pick which equities, which Bitcoin or altcoins. Of course, altcoins will be in the future. They won't be there at launch. That you want to get buy and sell signals on. And our proprietary algo is going to send you a buy and a sell signal. And you can check on this heat map when you go to the site, what has a buy and sell signal, what's happening to it that day, and what the bullish thing at the bottom shows is the confidence of the algo on its prediction. So if it's 100%, don't bet the whole farm, but know that it's a very strong signal. Meanwhile, if it's negative 100%, that means it's a very strong sell signal. If it's kind of in the middle, then it's not 100% sure. You should probably hold or just stay out. This gives a nice visual interpretation. If you don't like visual, you can set it up to send you emails, and we're looking at sending text in the future too. We're going to launch with only trend time frames, swing trading. So swing trading means you make trades once every week to a month. You don't trade intraday. We're going to be looking at doing day time frames in the future, but at launch we're going to have swing trades and then also probably trend trades. So people who have 401ks, any kind of retirement account, this is going to tell you basically to buy or sell in the market. So before 2008, 2009 happened, it would have told you to sell. If you bought at the bottom in 2009, it would have told you to buy. We ran this algo over the past 15 years, since 2000, against the S&P 500. If you bought and held the S&P 500, you'd only be up around 45%. If you used our current trading model that we have on our site now that Brian uses with the 1330, you'd be up, Brian, do you remember, was it like 130%?
140, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's around that. If you use the algo, you would be up 283%.
It's just
how
sick.
crazy this thing
Wow.
is.
Ridiculous, this algo.
So can I just give you guys my Roth IRA and call it?
Well, what's really cool about this is what it should do is it should take a lot of the guesswork out of investing. Just make it nice and simple. The tools that I demonstrate when I do these tutorials are exactly the same tools. They're just the computer is doing all the math, right? So we're really, really excited about this.
We're going to still be running
That looks
portfolios.
awesome, guys.
Just so you guys know, Brian's not going to be out of a job. We're going to be running, TRI is going to be creating a specific equity portfolio that we'll be trading with real money, our own funds. So any trade we post on the site ever, we always, I hope everyone knows out there that we always take it ourselves. Any altcoin trade that Brian talks about, he's always taking it himself.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. That's a really important point that you mentioned there, Julian. Some people, are like, I can't believe you did that trade. And I just, and some people are kind of like, well, I don't know whether that's such a good idea. And my simple response is, I would not talk about it with the public. I wouldn't mention it if I wasn't doing the trade myself. Every single trade idea that I mentioned to you guys, I'm actually in the trade. And so, as a testament, in fact, somebody had asked me a while ago, do you ever take like the opposite side of the trade that you sort of tout to the public to try and screw the public over? And I find that to me, morally, I just can't do that. What you hear from me, everything that our site touts, we are actually taking those trades.
Yeah, and especially in this industry, I mean the crypto industry, I mean that speaks volumes. I mean there's so
It's
many
ridiculous.
scammers. Yeah, I mean it's honestly, God, I mean I was talking to somebody earlier today just about being in this industry. I mean Rob and myself, we take this very seriously. We're running this as a business. I mean honesty is we're in line with you guys. Honesty is always the best policy, and we've just run into some serious characters and distrustful people in this
I think we have
industry.
one of the coins that we're looking at tonight is down along those lines, isn't it, Alex? I remember one of the coins that we were tweeting away, and we mentioned it, and all hell broke loose. People were just like, "Oh my God!" Is Alex still with us, or did his feed die?
Looks like his feed might have died.
Okay, well,
We'll see. He might come back.
Trouble in Canada.
So, what do you guys think about jumping into some Altcoin 5?
Yeah,
let's do it.
I'm going to go ahead and send Alex the link again just in case.
All right, so here, let me pull up the screen there. So we started off, and I think, do you actually tweet out the list of the ones that we're gonna do?
Last week I did. I will start doing that this week.
I've got.
I hadn't planned on it, but we got a good response last week. So.
Yeah. I mean, as I told you, I'm right in the middle of this crazy move. So I'm sort of at the computer, then I go pack for an hour or two, then I come back.
Yeah, I think it was basically your last 5 tweets are the ones that we were going to look at. I don't have a compiled list here, so I apologize,
okay.
Brian.
I got them right here. So the first one that we were going to look at is one actually that I actually took a trade off of, and I mean it's good that the viewers watch that. First and foremost, I teach to the public that I've never met a trader that was 100% right all the time and never lost money. I've never seen it. In 25 years in this business, I've never seen it. So, if anything, it's probably good that we start off with an example of one where, yeah, I took the trade, and yeah, I'm taking some heat right now. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Right. Is Alex? Are you back?
Alex is back. All right.
I remember digitally. We talked about this on the pilot episode of Block Talk. We had Brian on, and gave it a couple thumbs up. Fundamentally, the point it is good. Like they have a massive development team and some funding behind them, but it's just what the market wants. You can't. If there's not a lot of new money coming in, it's going to float down a bit.
Well, so my simple philosophy, and I try to convey this to you guys, is we want to try and buy near the bottom of the range, and we want to try and sell near the top end of the range. You can see one heck of a battle that was put up right in our reload zone here, between 61.8 and 78.6 fib. If we also look back over time, we can see where were the key battle points, and you can see that the market originally broke out from this level here, this 28 sats right there, right? My premise for wanting to buy this is simply that we're near the bottom end of the range, and frankly, I'm willing to risk, right down to the bottom on this trade. Now, we need to understand that and it's important for the audience to understand that I approach these altcoin trades very much like when I was a penny stockbroker, and how I would recommend people to trade venture cap penny stocks. In that the risk model that I take on these trades, I don't trade something like this on margin. If you were trading on margin, then really a breach, if you had bought this level right in here, then a breach of these lows would have spelled trouble, right? And I think if we look at it on balance, you can see it put up a hell of a fight, put up a hell of a fight, and then lost this level. And literally on it losing this key support line here, you can see that it just sort of went into a bit of a free fall here, right? There's that support line, and down she went. I actually went, and I was just curious, and I went and sort of, listened to the story. And am I not mistaken? Actually, maybe Alex, I don't know. Are you familiar with the actual work these guys are doing?
It's another coin that's very similar to making, I guess, things easier for the public to get into crypto. But like I haven't heard anything from them in a little while. Maybe that's why they're kind of dipping down a little bit. They're kind of in a sleeper mode, trying to get more stuff produced and polished before they release it.
Yeah. So, I get the feeling that we're in a bit of a drift right now, right? You're going to need some sort of news to drive this story. Because I've taken the little old lady approach, really, I think I took maybe about 2 or 3% portfolio risk on this. I could literally, take the shot at this thing going off the board. And really, I might consider adding to the position if I start seeing some sort of, evidence of a bottom or a turn here. But as it stands right now, I did buy, right around this, I think it was, 48.50 ticks. As you can see, I'm down 20 ticks on this thing right now, and really, I'm just sort of in a hurry up and show me, right?
We don't have that W market structure just yet.
Very good observation. You can see how they really tried in here, right? They really tried, but it never could launch, could it? And very good observation, Will. I mean, really on balance, what we'd like to see is a nice W. In fact, what I expect to happen is this 78.6, what we call our line in the sand, it's now, you notice how it corresponds with this key low here, right? So I actually expect this to be resistance now, and I think some other coins that we'll look at later on will see that. So my hunch is we probably rally back up into here, then come back down, test these lows, and then we'll start to see the momentum and volume come in here. And if it does, and we put in a W, like you said, then away we go, right? Right now we failed, and we're in drift. Right.
Great analysis.
I mean, the good part about this is, and it's good that we are seeing both pot winners and losers, right? Everybody in the audience should understand there are no traders in the world, I've never met them, that are 100% right all the time. It just doesn't happen. So I often tell my students, and I have to remind myself, is how you handle being wrong in the marketplace is often what's going to dictate your survivability over the long term. Here, basically, I took a shot. I was basically wrong, and because I didn't risk too much money on the trade, I'm okay just to sit here and let's just wait for this thing to bottom, and maybe I'll add to the position down the road, right? Because I didn't bet the farm on this long, I'm not even really sweating right now. It's just one of our positions that we have on the books.
Good deal.
Okay.
What's up next?
Next on the block, let's see what we got here.
I think we had NXT in there.
GGB. Oh yeah, this is the one I asked Alex to put his thinking cap on.
Okay.
XDQ. I
This
think this
is
is what I was referring to earlier when I said I heard that there was quite a bit of sort of scuttlebutt on the internet about this one.
okay. So the reason for that is due to the developer behind this coin, Bryce Wiener. He's a very charismatic speaker, but he's actually one of the first guys I started hearing about and listening when I got into crypto in April 2014, and very inspiring. Definitely bought more than I should have because of him. So he made a couple coins, Dirac XDQ. It's excuse me. It's a very low coin supply, like less than 500,000 coins. It's with a very low energy algorithm, Blake, and it's merge mineable. So it really was very low operating cost for anyone to get into. But the coin ended up being very expensive. But I'm pretty sure he probably controls a large portion of the supply, along with a couple other coins that he owns. And there's some very fishy stuff going on right now. Anyone who really wants to know more about Bryce, I recommend that you here. Let me share my screen for a sec. You check out my last tweet that I did, Alex_Sterk, and I tweeted about a remix of an interview that he did. It's a 4-hour interview, but if you really want to hear the good parts, just listen to this 4-minute song by Outraged Human, Nathan, and it basically picks up the greatest parts of it, like, oh, everyone needs someone to blame, or I haven't been saying anything worthwhile at all. And someone called in and it's like, I'd like to ask Bryce a question. Why is he a fucking moron? So he's definitely burned a lot of people, and in that interview he said he has nothing to do with crypto anymore, which I think is a bold-faced lie. He definitely is still involved. He has miners. He's pumping coins. He's breaking coins. Any project that he's been involved with has shown very bad tendencies of control. There's definitely whales and manipulations involved with it. So when you see here, it can't decide what it wants to do. It might go up, but honestly, I own some Dirac and I lost it on an exchange that got hacked, and I'm not looking to buy any more ever again.
Okay. Well, great testament to you can in this world, they say you're only as good as your bond, right? And you can take advantage of the public once or twice, but after a while, if you simply run out of credibility, the market will punish you dramatically. And I'm a bit saddened to hear it, but really it doesn't surprise me. This is quote unquote an unregulated business. So, we have to expect that there are going to be nefarious characters in this field. It sucks, but that's just a part of life, eh? When I look at this story technically, I really don't like the fact that, of course, we're seeing lower highs and lower lows. I mean, I suppose one could argue, and let me make sure I have my right screen up here. One could argue that that's all this has been, is just a story of the market, making a new low, bouncing back, making a new low, bouncing back. Making a new low,
if the
trying to
developer
bounce
gets
back.
the coins for next to nothing, he has no problem with driving it all the way to zero.
Right. That's disappointing, right?
Yeah.
Now, just a couple pieces of anecdotal evidence for those people that are traders, and keep in mind that, regardless of your perception of the person's, moral quality, there are swings here, and so if you are adept, you can try and take advantage of them. It feels to me, anytime we have a market move to new lows like this, that, we're probably at some point setting ourselves up for some sort of dead cat bounce. So if you are in this thing and you're looking to exit, our good old first stop target really jumps out at me, 38.2, this 7892. Interestingly, and I wrote this down here. We teach basically, the whole program is 32 different modules on different aspects of trading, of which, over half of those modules are what we call the candy store, right? Or, different technical tools. One of the tutorials that we did for you guys, and I'm a big fan of the on balance volume, is, they're literally taking price down here. But what's interesting is you can see that on balance volume, somebody is actually buying up all these coins. So, it's interesting that you made that comment that, publicly the guy's coming out and saying, I'm not in crypto. My hunch is here somebody is accumulating this thing, right?
Yep.
And I have one student who just was enamored. Hello, Jonathan. I hope you're having a great evening tonight. That is just enamored with OBV, and he's just made a killing on altcoins just following OBV. And OBV is trying to tell us something here, right? Something is going on. And of course, it would make sense that at the bottom of the market, everybody hates this SOB, right? And everybody hates this coin, and they're all dying 1,000 deaths, so wouldn't it be a big shocker to see some sort of counter-trend rally? Is that enough of a case to be an investor in this name? I don't think so. I really, I don't like up, down, up, fail, right? Fail. I really don't like this. And so the way I would interpret this action is I really want to see at least a bit of a counter trend rally, come down and test these lows, and then turn back up and give us a W. Right? Then once we've got the W in place, then we can start, thinking that this is trending higher, right? Right now we are just not trending. If anything, we're trending lower, which is no good. And for those people that
we should just avoid it altogether.
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody watching this video, to have Alex Sterk come out and blatantly say, do not touch this thing, my hunch is that's probably a good piece of advice for the public.
Yep. I'll just say a couple other coins that he's involved in, just so the public knows. And, consider that fact when you look at any of these coins. The one is Razor, RZR.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
XSeeds. It's a ticker. There's a couple other ones. I think those are like the two main ones that I know you shouldn't be touching at all. Some people buy into them because they know they're scammy, or they maybe got them at a low price, and they figure even scams got to go up at sometimes. But like my opinion is, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Brian, I know like you trade on technicals, so you're like, well, you could touch it with a 20-foot pole, but so like,
that's
fundamentally, yeah.
I would ideally like to bill myself as a rational investor. So, what I'm hearing anecdotally is the fundamental story is not positive. So, rationally speaking, we just can't even think about this. Right?
Yeah. So let's move on to the next coin here, because we're definitely going way too long on this coin in particular.
All right. This guy's just going, talk more about me. Talk more. Okay, yeah, we got to keep moving forward here. And again, Alex, well, I guess you sort of been initiated to this with me on your block talk, but if I get to a point where I'm talking too much, Will's actually has the permission to come in and say, stopwatch, Brian, stopwatch.
Yeah, I usually just send you about 20 messages on Hangouts.
Yeah, the problem, though, when you do that is
I try to make it beep.
I'm looking at the chart, right? So, but anyway, we don't want to waste any more time. Okay, so I'll just try my best, but everybody understand, I love the sound of my own voice, and man, do I love to talk.
Well,
okay,
it's a sexy voice.
All right, so what's our next coin, Brian?
Our next one, we said that, actually, we're not bad. We're on number 2. So number 3, we were going to look at, good old Nautilus.
Yes.
now Nautilus is a funny story, right? In that, if anything, if I was going to teach a course on how to trade, this is actually a pretty good template to sort of, everybody, if you want to learn how to trade, you want to do it right, these are the kind of things you want to look for. The problem now, of course, is that people are interested in buying now, right? And I know, Julian, you want me to talk about the future. You don't want me to talk about the past. But just very simply put,
Go ahead. You got 1 minute.
All right. Will, can you appreciate the W that came in down here?
I do. It's a faint W, but it's definitely there.
Well, let's see. We'll try and load this. Let's see what happens. Nautilus. Is it going to work? Okay, how about this one? Oh, that's the one I just did. There we go. Hey, awesome. Perfect. All right. So
we made some updates since last time, Brian. Saving and loading should be a little bit better.
All right. So, look at this W right here, right? So we went, and really you can really see how this is a floor, right? Can you guys appreciate how this is a bottom end of a trading range, right? And really, this is an excellent example of where I really want to just teach you guys to try and hunt for setups near the bottom end of the range, right? And what you're looking for is just a test of the top end of the range, right? So as you can see, we kept going down here, and it just didn't want to go down. Now the problem is that nobody in crypto was really that interested in Nautilus here, right? And yet the interesting thing is, I would argue, is this is where the smart money was loading up, right? And you can see our volume, right? We can see the buyers came in earnest on the breakout through the top. Remember, we talked about Bitcoin a few minutes ago, right? Very similar trading range, right? Where the breakout through the top, confirmed by a volume or momentum, that's what's going to launch us higher on Bitcoin. And you can see how it did that on Nautilus here, right? That's a very classic price action. Now, the issue here, of course, is you can see this is where I bought, right? And I'm very proud of myself because this is exactly what I want to teach students. We got nice market structure came in, nice rally, pull back into optimal trade entry reload zone, right? If we just do a little fibby fib right here. Boom, to boom, right? And you can see our line in the sand, right? And that's basically where I pulled the trigger. That has got to be one of the trades of the year.
That's a hell of a trade.
Damn.
Where does that end up on the top end there? It's
a long
past the chart, man.
All right. So the point here is, this is where I bought, and everybody watching this video, that's not bullshit. We have an audited statements. You can go look at the website to see that I bought right here. Not that big of a surprise. Now, what I do is
Hey, Brian, just not to cut you off, but I want to add this in. We added a new feature that I didn't mention. We actually show your historical trades on the chart now. So if you connect an API account, you'll be able to actually see that trade in all time frames.
Awesome. All right. Something to look forward to. So now what I do when I trade, right, is, can you guys appreciate that this is a lot of anxiety? Can you see these price swings? This is dramatic, right? Where literally you're going from, woohoo, I'm rich, to, oh crap, I got to go back to my work tomorrow. Woo, I'm rich. I got to go back to work. Woo, I'm rich, right? That is, you guys need to understand, if you want to learn how to trade as a professional, this is not sustainable over 10, 20-year career. You will lose all the hair on your head, or it will go gray, and you will give yourself an ulcer. This is just this kind of being, basically, great. Brian, I had an awesome entry. Way to go. But where the heck is the top? Right? Most people would have thought, well, the top is probably somewhere here, maybe 200% extension. What I do when I have my sell half on a double strategy is it takes this guesswork out of the equation. I will always be long some Nautilus. Always. Forever. Right? If it just keeps going up, I will just keep selling half on a double. And there are stories like Microsoft and Google and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange where when they went public, their stock went up and it just never looked back, right? It does happen. This is actually a very more normal scenario, right? And really what I want to do for the public is get you out of, first of all, let's stop buying these rallies. That's just asking for trouble. But, if you are thinking about exiting, try and build into your trading plans, and I hope all of you are trading with trading plans, simple strategies to relieve your anxiety as a trader. So one of the easiest ways for me to relieve my anxiety as a trader is to make the selling process mechanical. And so that's basically what I've outlined here. Nautilus has treated us very, very well. Now, the interesting thing is, we had this nutso pop here, and I actually got a little bit complacent because the profits were just so ridiculous. I should have had another sell order working here at 40,000. And I was watching price go up here, and literally I put my sell order, I was the offer at the top of the friggin' market. And literally the price just sat there at 55, just sat there, and I couldn't get a fill. Nobody would fill me, the bastards. And then, of course, look what happened. Vaboosh, right? So this is an excellent testament to don't screw around. And now, ironically, you see that the market's not even going to come back to my 40,000 level. Isn't that funny? So, great anecdote of I got greedy and I got punished. And in my blog tweet, and keep in mind, I made great money on this, right? We're already up 200% net gain, and we've still got coins on the books. It's just I got a little greedy, and in my blog write-up for site members and stuff, I even said, you know what, I'm going to leave this order forever at that 55. And if it never gets filled, it's going to be a reminder for the rest of the time that I run this altcoin portfolio of what greed can do to you. So this is a funny story.
So
now,
the story behind this one with Nautilus coin, I think we haven't seen how high this could go because just like Max Coin and Sterk Coin, the coins from Max Kaiser, the guy behind this, Brian Kelly, he's a loud dude and he's got a lot of what's it called, viewers on his show. He works for CNBC, so that's where this last raise came from.
Right, and I would say a nice simple rule of thumb. Remember Bitcoin, what was Bitcoin's price on the Silk Road reversal?
Oh, jeez. I think that was like it dropped to 400 again.
No. Silk Road reversal price was between $50 and $100 a coin, right?
Okay, yeah.
And where did Bitcoin top out? About 1,100 and change, right? That is actually, believe it or not, a very normal market move, a tenfold increase, right? And if you do the math, look what we have here. Basically, 5,000 to 50,000, tenfold increase. Not a big surprise that this thing stopped here, and I agree with you. They could clean this thing up, and then we start the whole game over again. And the next stop, if we have another face rip up, the interesting thing about this coin from my perspective is this is basically a proxy on Grexit right now, right? Why did the coin run up here? Do you know why?
I have it up on my screen here, Brian. It was an article written by the man himself. Telling us that the Greece island is going to be using his currency.
Right. So the long and short of it here is, can you understand that if the year, and keep in mind, what I think's going on with Grexit is really a negotiation process. There is no firm line in the sand, Greece, get out of the euro. I don't think that the euro will even let Greece leave. And what ends up happening here is we have these great referendums that we're going to leave the public to decide whether we're going to stay in the euro, and then the referendum goes down in flames. No, we're not. We want out, blah, blah, blah. And the bureaucrats in Brussels just go, okay, so that means that maybe we have to calm our tone down with Greece, and let's go back to the negotiating table and rework the framework. And the irony of all of this is that to a coin like this, literally it moved on that entire referendum. That was that move. Isn't that incredible?
It was also the same day that the stock exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, was closed for 4 hours. So I'm sure lots of people were scouring the news trying to find out more. So he put the story out at the same time, and
Ooh,
right.
Great timing.
Yeah, it was just a whirlpool event.
Right, and it wouldn't surprise me if he actually purposely did that. Oh, you cut out there, Alex. Sorry. Can you repeat that?
Oh, yeah, no, it's an older coin. It's from like about a year ago, but the idea behind it was it's a proof of stake coin. So rather than a block reward, it's based on interest, and he wanted to have a variable interest rate based on the amount that coins were moving.
Oh, we lost you again.
I think we lost him.
Too many were and not enough were being sent.
I can hear you buffering, and then all of a sudden you start talking really fast.
Are you on
let me go audio? Yeah. Okay.
Are you Sorry. Yeah. So the way very simply put, we as traders need to understand. Just very simply, Alex, can you appreciate how I would consider this a profit-taking event? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was a sell on the news.
Yeah. And, people who are watching this show, we need to understand, if you want to become a professional trader, this was a classic buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Mm-hmm. Now we've got to wait for whatever next news event is going to be built into the pipeline, and it'll be the same thing. Buy the rumor, sell the news. There's a lot of money to be made on this thing.
Yeah, well, Brian Kelly's a loud dude, and we should probably be hearing from him again because he still has some stuff that he originally planned for the coin, and it needs to be implemented still.
He's just waiting for Wall Street to shut down for the next day, and he'll release that info.
Exactly, yeah. So he's trying to make money off of his coin, and he's also trying to look good as a reporter.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too. You wonder if he's breaching any sort of ethical grounds there. Really, should he be wearing both hats here? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's another conversation for another day.
All right, next coin, guys. I'm feeling the next one here.
Yeah, all right.
I'm with you, Alex.
I'll just finish off with what are my thoughts going forward here. I could not buy Nautilus here. I just couldn't, right? And if I wanted to be buying it, I would have to simply wait for it to calm down back into a range where we can start seeing some levels here. Okay, sorry to get off topic there. I just want to finish that off. All right, so Alex is feeling the love for the next one. What do we got on the next coming up here?
I think we have NXT, which actually Block Talk did actually a great show last week, was it, Alex?
Yeah.
With somebody who's basically running a managed fund using the NXT network.
Yeah, I did watch that show. I was very interested, and frankly, I even looked into how I might do it myself. Unfortunately, I'm just not that computer. What's the term I'm looking for? I don't know what
savvy.
It is. Okay, let's call it savvy. And I sort of ran into a brick wall, one or two web pages into my search. So, if anything, what these guys need to do is, here's an idiot's guide for people who don't understand how to set up wallets to go ahead and set up your own coin using our platform. So, but maybe tell us the story behind NXT, because I'm curious.
So NXT was actually it was a crowdfund of a bunch of different coins that kind of got together and worked to combine all their blockchains onto one. And NXT, the blockchain is like a market blockchain, so it keeps track of buys and sells, and then.
Oh, did we lose Alex?
Every time.
Yeah, Alex, are you all using a Wi-Fi right now?
Yeah, you know what? I'm at Decentral, and I'm betting someone else is probably using a lot of internet in the other room.
No worries, you
Okay.
sound good now. I think
Yeah,
it's
I'll
just
just keep on
brain
audio, because I don't have any good charts or anything for this one.
I'll have Brian. I'll present Brian's, and then you can talk over that.
Okay, so yeah, NXT, and the reason I think it's dumping right now is with all this stuff going on with Ethereum, because Ethereum is essentially a similar platform. It allows decentralized trading and smart contracts and dividend sharing, so very similar to what NXT does. So I think right now what you're seeing is a lot of whales exiting, and that not just from NXT, but also from assets on NXT. So like on our show, the guy was talking about, oh, it's great, yeah, you own an asset, the asset goes up in price, you get paid dividends, NXT goes up in price, and then also Bitcoin goes up in price. So you're making money four ways. Well, you can also lose money four ways.
Yeah, I guess so. And really, the value of if you had a fund off of this platform, then the value of your fund is subject to whatever the whims are of this NXT, eh? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would have thought that they would have somehow offset that if NXT itself, say, went up in price and your fund itself didn't do anything, then your fund by default would go down in price. But that's not the case?
No, because well, the prices are representative in Next. So like when you buy an asset, you're buying it in Next. But and the dividends are also paid out in Next. So I guess if the price of Next goes down, then you're going to be losing some costs there.
All right. So the trend for this thing, since, and this is just looking at it on Bittrex, is there a better platform to be looking at this thing on?
Well, I wanted to share my screen, actually. I had a really cool chart of, I overlaid Polynex and Bittrex on the same screen. I can try maybe one more time here. But,
Go ahead and give it a shot.
Just
right.
talk slowly.
Yeah.
Talk slowly.
So, I made this one here. And, again, I love these charting tools because you can really compare data well. But you can see the blue is Polynex, and there's lots of knives here. Like someone is dumping like crazy on Polynex, but Bittrex is holding pretty well. And there was actually on Bittrex at 4,000 satoshis, there was about a million Nex buy wall there, and I think that got broken through today.
All right. Just quick technical summary. I mean, Will, you should be able to look at that chart right there, and what's the first thing that jumps out at you recently see there?
I see a big McDonald's arch.
That's right. Very good. Way to go. So the point here is that the market is kind of speaking, and often when we get a fundamental story, like a competition, it may be coming to eat these guys' lunch. Couple that with a technical picture, of something like, just this nasty M top here. If we put it on a clothesline, you'll probably see it pretty well. There it is there, eh? Let's go like this, like this, like this, right? And we can even we'll do that, right? So, lower highs, lower lows, not really happy. I will say though, right, and some of my group are starting to get interested in this. If we think about this as a range, right, we've basically taken back 61.8 to 78.6 of the range. So if we start getting some technical anecdotal evidence of bottoming action, what letter of the alphabet do you think I'm going to want to look for here, Will?
I believe a W.
That's right. So if we come down, test these lows, and then turn back up, well, you know what? That's not such a bad trade idea, right? But, you know, considering the fundamental developments that Alex is talking about, coupled with this really nasty M top, and of course, you know, the cool part about the stuff that we teach is it's applicable across the board. So you can see how price was making higher highs here, but unfortunately, momentum was not, wasn't it? Will, what do we call that? Do you remember?
Momentum divergence.
Very good, right? And we also had, you know, our overbought, oversold indicator getting awfully nosebleedy up here. So really, it shouldn't surprise us that this has happened, right? Now, you can see that we're trying to put in a little bit of a momentum bottom here, so we'll watch how this acts here. I see no buyers coming back. And considering what Alex is saying, maybe what we'll see is the buyers might return after that Ethereum ICO. Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, I guess that's what you can call it.
Right. So you know, it makes a lot of sense what Alex is saying, and the price action is basically confirming what he's saying. Is that, you know, my hunch is that these guys sort of own the market for whatever service this was. Now somebody else has come into their space and they're threatening to eat their lunch. Would you say that Ethereum has a better offering than these guys, Alex?
Yeah, I think they're bigger. I would have
Yeah,
to.
it's got a lot more behind it. I mean, that much I know.
Right.
Because one thing I've heard is actually they're planning on forking the code to make there's big companies like Nasdaq and stockbrokers and whatnot that are planning on using Ethereum code to move to a blockchain type system where the guys behind NXT were like, hey, we got a solution right now and it's working all right. But the main thing I've always said about it is it's very slow. And I think with Ethereum, they might get a faster speed out of it and more functionality.
All right, so we have an old adage in the market, right? You want to make $1 million, build a better mousetrap, right? And the world will beat a path to your door. So that testament right there is not really the best news for NXT. And you can literally see the market is voting here. Another thing that kind of bothers me is you notice that this is not a W here, is it? It's kind of like a V, right? And unfortunately, V bottoms, kind of like this V here, right? They often need to be tested. Kind of like how this was a V top and the market had to go up and test it, right? So we got a V bottom. Yes, we are in an interesting trade location. If you were, say, a pit trader, a day trader, and this was like an hourly chart, I know a lot of people in the world that would just simply look to buy the midpoint of the OTE RLZ and look to risk to the bottom, and their potential reward is a test to the top. You can see that sets up a 2-to-1 risk reward. You know, you decide what type of trader you are. If you are going to do that in your trading margin, then you have to respect this stop. And if this level is broken, you got to get the hell out. And it sucks, but that's a trader's life. Having said that, you know, this is kind of like the coin that we talked about earlier. We are not in an uptrend. Unfortunately, we're making lower highs and lower lows. And until we stop making lower lows and we start making higher highs, I just simply have to say that, you know, we're just on the sidelines. Nothing you can do here.
All right. Well, you heard it from the man himself.
Yeah, you know, I don't know whether that's what you wanted to hear, Alex. I'm sorry.
Well, I said on my show with the next guys that I was putting some buy walls at 4,000 because I saw there was that massive one right at 4,000. But I actually, what I did, I started at 4,000 and I went all the way down to that old low. So the lower we go, the more I get filled. So I'm fine with being dumped on right now. That means I'm getting my next that I want.
Okay. And, you know, honestly, I don't have enough anecdotal evidence for me to get into it, but it's really interesting to hear that you actually consider this relatively fundamental value in here.
Yeah, like we kind of hovered at 4,000 a lot, so that's kind of why I was like, oh, I'll start my buy walls there, and I'll I'll put 1%, and then a 1% a little lower, and 1% a little lower until I have my 5% of my portfolio that I want to put in. So like I'm not upset if I only get a 3% fill, but like ideally I'd love to get a 5% fill.
Mm-hmm. And you can see, our overbought, oversold indicator is pretty stupid right now. So, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Let's hope OTERLZ proves. And I know that there are a lot of boys in my group on the rationalinvestor.co who are taking shots on this thing down here. And so, my feeling is I want to see a little bit more anecdotal evidence before I pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's up next, guys? I think we're
we must be getting pretty
into Ethereum. Well, it's not really Ethereum. It's an Ethereum proxy.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting that you dovetailed these, because the next one on the block is the ETC.
Yeah. So I'd like to explain, I guess, the fundamental of this one quickly, because Ethereum was a crowd sale, and basically you had it somehow.
I don't mean to interrupt, Alex, but I just don't think you can do charts and talk. It's just not working.
Okay. Let me just cut my bandwidth down here. I'll do one at a time from now on. Okay. So now you just have my eye. I need your ears here for a sec to tell you about Ethereum.
I'm listening loud and clear. Loud and clear. Go for it.
So there's a crowdfund about a year ago, and what they did was you bought in, but after you.
Can you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds for people that have never heard or understand that. What does crowdfunding mean?
It's similar to, I guess, Kickstarter or whatever. Like it's an opportunity for someone to buy into a product that isn't finished, in the hopes that later on it will be finished and that initial investment will be worth more.
Okay. So, and what, do people like just go out on the internet and say, I need money, give me money?
Yeah, and this happens all the time. I got spammed the other day with one, and honestly it was crap, but Ethereum has a lot of really smart developers behind it, and they got a lot of funding. They sold 60 million coins, and basically those coins are going to be written into the blockchain, or the Genesis block tomorrow. So like everyone gets their coins tomorrow when the network starts up. So we don't know what's going to happen in terms of dumping or pumping, but this ETC is really the only indication. So one guy had a lot of money. He dropped to about 400K and bought 1 million of these coins, and he then created a token and said, okay, every one of these tokens is backed by Ethereum that I already bought. So this gives you an opportunity to trade it before the network is launched and everyone else has their tokens. So these 1 million coins are 1/60th of the potential Ethereum market. So if the market cap stays the same the way it is right now in terms of price and everything, we're looking at a coin launching tomorrow that's the size of Litecoin in market cap, over 180 million.
Cool.
So this is kind of a big deal, yeah.
And I'd just like to add that we do already have the Ethereum markets on Coinigy. So once we get some trades in, they will pop up.
Interesting. So this is the classic ICO event then, eh?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. The fact that you have all these people who bought Ethereum at with their $500 Bitcoin, and now they have $250 Bitcoin. So what are they going to do as soon as they get their Ethereum? They're probably going to try and get some of their money back.
Interesting. So when somebody said, here is, and is that what they did with the crowdfunding, is they took Bitcoins in? Is that how they got people to fund them with Bitcoins?
Yeah, this was last May or April, I think it was. They took in, it was one of the largest crowdfunding events in the space. But
yeah, it was a huge event.
So, if I went to them last May and said, okay, here's my Bitcoin, it was, like you said, $500, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, that's sort of what I was talking about with my little altcoin portfolio. Bitcoin is down a pretty big chunk, right? So these people, technically, are they sitting on a capital loss right now? Were they actually assured that they were going to get $500 worth of Ethereum, or was the actual market pegged then? I suppose this could be quite a long conversation. So, I don't know whether we have time for all the answers to these right now, but I'd be very curious to learn more about this.
So if you can look at my screen and hopefully still hear me.
Talk slowly.
You'll see a large drop in Bitcoin like immediately after this Ether was established. And I'm betting that was probably the Ethereum crowdfund selling Bitcoin in order to pay for their costs in whatever dollars they deal with.
That's a really interesting theory. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, do we know, Alex, do you know, approximately how many Bitcoin they were holding? Is that something that they're like really disclosing publicly?
I've had a hard time finding information on it. I've had to really go based off of hearsay to get most of the information. And like Ethereum always, it kind of interested me, but I never put any money towards it. So fundamentally, I wish I knew more, but I know the guys at Decentral here are really interested, and we're going to hopefully break down as much as possible on Block Talk this
Awesome.
This Saturday. Yeah.
I will be watching. I mean, that's one big thing. For us, we really want to get into kind of decentralized assets and smart contracts, basically figuring out the best way to chart them. So definitely looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This ETC, it went zooming up on what? Did these guys actually say that they were going to do anything?
That's actually January when the Bitcoin price crashed to 160. So a lot of people bought into Ethereum to hold their value.
All right. So, but I didn't think Ethereum was traded yet.
No, this ETC is the million coins that one individual created as a way to trade Ethereum before they're created. So,
all right.
So basically, every person that's in this market is technically, if the guy follows through, they have some Ethereum waiting for them once everything goes live tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes.
So
okay. he had 1/60th of the crowdfund because I think it was 60 million coins, and he bought 1 million of them and created an asset to represent those 1 million Ethereum coins.
And in January, when Bitcoin was tanking and this thing spiked up, you think that was directly related?
Oh yeah. Check out the chart here. You can see right where Bitcoin just takes.
What are we looking at here? Purple is Bitcoin, and red is what?
Red is Ether.
The ETC.
Yeah. So you can see that's right at the same time when you see that price action, Brian. And now the price action we're seeing in the last couple of months is developments coming out, like them saying, "Oh, we're almost ready." And it was like this massive spike that we had was them saying, we're launching the network next Thursday.
Right. So what you're saying is that these two assets were inversely correlated before, but now doesn't look to me like they're inversely correlated. It almost looks to me like they have a high correlation here now.
Yeah. Well, I think when Bitcoin was still on a downtrend, then they were inverted because I think there's a lot of institutional investors also in this because it represents a very large asset.
Right. Interesting. Okay. All right. Just my 2 cents on what I see here currently. I kind of get the feeling that this was almost a in a similar way, like you said, that they actually came out with news that, yeah, this thing is about to go, right? And my feeling is that this looks awfully much like a little bit of a blow off top here. The cool part about it, of course, is we've talked already now about the sort of tenfold increase that can happen when these things go nuts. So if it does go, then it's got more room to go here. But at the same time, I really hope viewers can appreciate that I just could not justify anybody being a buyer up in here, right? If we look at the market structure, and really this is what I want you guys to start, incorporating into your trading plans, is, if I was interested in buying this, there was the previous run up. I'm a little worried right now that we're going to get a repeat performance like this, right? Where you had them pump it up, and then on the actual ICO date of Ethereum, I suppose, you could get a counter trend rally up into sort of OTE RLZ here, and then it craps out. So just be careful of that, okay, guys?
Yep.
I don't like the look of momentum here. Something doesn't look right here. And while I've said money isn't leaving now, I'm also not happy with the way that buyers are backing off here. It's a little bit concerning.
Well, I think the reason buyers aren't buying it because they say, well, if I wait 2 days, I can just buy the actual Ethereum coins on an exchange. So I think it'll be interesting. Maybe in 2 weeks we should overlay ETC along with ETH. And get an idea of what the long-term price of Ethereum has been after only having 2 weeks of data on it.
Yeah, this is going to get really interesting.
Yeah,
ETC, really curious to see where this is going to go. It seems like it depends on whether the guy is going to actually follow through.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and really, what you guys should appreciate, and really this is very similar to Bitcoin charts that we see, right? Is you can kind of see that froth wash out all the FOMOers, right? Go quiet. People probably kind of lost interest. You can see some big ass buyer came in here right there, right? Off of the breakout, right? Not a big surprise. I would have loved to have hunted OTE RLZs off of this range to try and sneak your way in down here. And of course, had I done that, out goes half on a double, and you'd probably be sitting on, probably, well, I don't know, what number is this, 39? So double that is 80, so you would have got one double off. Then 16 would have been another double. So you would have been sitting on 200% booked profits plus your free coins now. As it stands right now, my hunch is this story's kind of over. And I think that's actually what I tweeted to Alex earlier today.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we were looking at Nautilus earlier. Nautilus has got the same gap action. And that gap, if we look at the Nautilus intraday chart, it's acted as a brick wall. The market just cannot get through that gap. I'm concerned that they did this today. I don't know whether this candle's going to finish like this. Where is this? But if the market leaves that gap there, then that gap becomes just a massive resistance point.
All right, so maybe we should revisit this one in 2 weeks even tomorrow. Everyone can look at it when this asset goes from a $2.5 million market cap to a $150 million market cap.
Well, that kind of
this will be interesting.
Because what that means is, and people can freely buy and sell this thing, right?
Right now, just ETC.
Right. So the point that I would just make is that you may actually find ETC actually dumps, right, as people are taking profits.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at that saved chart, Brian.
Yeah.
So I think we're about 15 minutes to the 2 hour mark here. Maybe we
should
cover
probably
vanilla.
get to wrapping it up here. It's
I don't mind. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a tough one. It is back down into the reload zone, so there you got that going for it. But isn't that interesting? The gap is gone now. Isn't that interesting?
T-minus 16 hours until the network launches.
All right. So, day trade. Oh, that's a 4-hour. That's why. We go back up to daily. Is this going to work? Anyway. Okay. So we'll leave it at that. Long and short of it here is, if I was trading this, I would be on 200% gains and free coins and just spoon feeding the market coins as we worked our way higher. I'm not. I could consider taking a shot at it off of these lows, but really I don't see a lot to get me a lot excited here. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
cool. All right. Well, I guess we can call it a night then.
All right.
Once again, thanks so much for giving us a watch here. I'll let Brian and Alex. Well, by the way, thanks so much, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, not a problem. I think I'll have to make some free time for future shows because I like being on the other side of the organization part. It gives me more time to pull up cool things or participate more in the conversation.
Yeah, man, and you're welcome anytime, definitely. So, all right. Well, Brian, do you want to give the super saucy sign off?
I don't. What is that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Julian, do you have any thoughts? Julian,
nope. It's almost midnight here, so I'm falling asleep.
So, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I hope you can take some value out of the information that I've conveyed here this evening. I do, I value the concept of rational investing, so I think Alex's input as to the fundamentals of the stories, I think, is invaluable. So thank you so much for participating with us tonight. And we look forward to maybe having your input again in the future. Thank you, Will, for working with us, the rationalinvestor.co, to bring this out every couple of weeks to the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
And really, on balance, my general thoughts are, those people that are speculating in the market, please keep in mind that we're in summer trading and we've got the fall coming up here, so we should be extra vigilant there. Always play from a position of strength. Don't put yourself into a position where you can't come back and play the game tomorrow. In fact, tonight I gave you an example of a trade that I did take. It's not working. I'm underwater, but because I'm managing myself professionally and what I want to see from my entire audience, it's not the end of the world. It's just a part of a trader's life. So have yourselves a great evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions? We'd love to get your feedback. I was very pleased to say, today we had just so many notifications about the altcoins. I apologize I didn't get to everybody's coin. And if you asked for one this week and we didn't get to it, remind me next show. Hey, Brian, I asked you to do this last time. Could you please look at this one, and I'll make my best effort. So have yourselves a great evening. Good luck in trading. All the best, and bye for now.